Hello. Coming to you live from the Noble Palace. I'm going to talk to you about those surveys we took. Uh, Give you a little personal reflection and, you know, basically tell you my feelings on the subject of the surveys and the subjects of the surveys that I took. Of course, I took the race one, like we were told to do. The result was a strong automatic association with European American and instead of African American, which is not a real surprise. You take those kind of things, well, for me anyway, you take those kind of things and you'd like them to work out another way. So you'd like it to be, oh, everybody's the same. Everybody's great. And I feel the same way about everybody. But it's probably, not going to be, that seems like, especially when I saw the results of everybody that was taking those quizzes, that a lot of them were moderate to strong automatic. So, it wasn't a surprise that I fell in there. Mostly because you think, you get set up for that kind of thing probably pretty early on, and you're inundated with the certain way of thinking, All right. So, it might even be kind of a cop out to say, you were raised that way. But the difference is, and this will be the same for probably all three of these results that I got. You're probably set up a certain way by your upbringing, but somewhere along the way, you ought to learn to overcome it. You ought to learn to, you should know better. And especially after you've been through, college and grad school, you've, along the way, and especially, and you're going to be in a classroom, your your strong automatic association should be, could be overcome with what you've learned along the way. Like, even if you were raised in a household where, everybody had rebel flag tattoos or, swastikas hanging up. Well, maybe that might be a little extreme. But, even the subtle, I would say that I was raised in a maybe subtly racist household. And I had racist friends. And, you're going to pick that stuff up. But then you learn better. You know better. And you can overcome it. Especially when you're, when you're applying it to your teaching. And you're going to deal with different folks, different races. And, you can't just let your strong automatic association, rule the day. You're going to need to, overcome it. And I feel like I'm pretty conscious of it. I'm pretty conscious of, what's right and what's wrong. The test is not necessarily the way it's set up. I think it's more of a subconscious thing, because you're doing all these quick reactions, and then it can even get a little confusing. And you might be taking it when you're maybe you're taking it when you're a little tired or something, and you get a little, but you can get a little fatigued. Maybe the fatigue brings out the real feelings. But I think that, again, and I'll say it again, You know better. So, when you're in the classroom, especially, you got to let that stuff go. And I don't feel I don't feel I don't feel like I'm just because I have an automatic association with European Americans that I'm like a blatant racist or anything like that. It's just what I've been around more. I mean, I grew up in a pretty mixed, pretty racially diverse area. Well, I'll say racially diverse. It was very black and white. I mean, there was, but I've had mostly encounters with white folks. So, I guess that's means I'm going to be more comfortable like that. But I'm I'm fine either way. Uh, let's see. Let's go on to the second one. And this one was pretty interesting, I think. It says it says I have a moderate association with males with career and females with family compared to females with career and males with the family. And growing up, in the formative years, when I think a lot of this, like a lot of this stuff is set up. Then it was my dad went out, he did the work, he made the money, and my mom stayed home, and she cooked the meals. She didn't work. And my dad would even say over and over again that the man was supposed to take care of the family, and the man was supposed to, the man was supposed to be the leader, the moneymaker, the breadwinner, and the woman was supposed to take care of the family, and any other way was not right. If the woman had to work, then something was wrong. He's even said that to my wife, who is a strong career woman, and when she's always worked since we've been married. It's just what you do. You work. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it. And even since I've been in school, I haven't worked. I haven't made money. And it's and I've been more of the not exclusively, but more of the caretaker. And I feel like that's really made an impact on my core values or core beliefs, I guess, the way that, I would say that it's changed them, but, I guess it's hard to overcome what you were, it's hard to overcome your initial programming, I suppose, but, I know the difference in the programming and what really is cool. It's fine for, the man to stay at home or the man to work and the woman to work. And it's even fine the other way, but it doesn't, there's no required way to do it. It's a team effort. As far as, implications on my teaching of this one, I don't really know. Just, I can't really tell that it would have an effect on how I would, think about that while I was teaching. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. And the third one I took was, I can't remember what the second one I did. I don't remember I didn't write it down. I don't, the category. Maybe it was sexuality. I think that might have, no, it wasn't sexuality. It was, I don't remember what it was. The third one was sexuality. And it says I have a moderate automatic preference for straight people compared to gay people. which, of course I was shooting for, everything's equal and no difference whatsoever. But, I've come a long way in this one. Years ago, was very uncomfortable. I mean, very uncomfortable with even the thought of homosexuality or seeing somebody that was gay. It was weird. It was weird to see somebody, and, it was like, oh, there's something wrong with them. And I grew up going to church, and that's just what's wrong. It's a sin. You can't, it's the wrong way to be. And it's icky and creepy, and you just don't, I don't want to think about even talking to you, and just go away and go crawl in your hole and don't have any contact with people. It was pretty bad. It was pretty intense. And then, this one probably took a little bit longer to get over, actually. I met my wife now, and she was very open-minded, very, very accepting of everybody, and just, I guess, guilt by association. I've come a long ways in my ability to accept folks. It's not even a thing now. In fact, if I know somebody is gay, I'll try to almost go bend over backwards to let them know, like, hey, I'm okay with you. You're great. You're the best. But which I guess is probably a little overkill. But from where I started to where I am now, it's like a 360. I guess it's not a total 360 because I still have a moderate automatic preference according to the test. And this was the last one I took. I took one yesterday. I took the race one yesterday on Wednesday, and this is Thursday. And I took the one about the careers, the family, and then I took the one about the sexuality, like, back to back. And I think that might have had a little impact on my results for the second one I took, the sexuality one. But yeah, as far as implications on my teaching for that one, that seems pretty straightforward. And it's a lot like the African American one, automatic preference, whatever. It's not, if I were to feel like it played any kind of role, I would certainly need to be aware of it, and, make a concerted effort to, overcome that, or to not let it play play a role. Like I said, you gotta know better. You just gotta know better. You gotta know that, if you are in the wrong, if you feel like you're better, or somebody that's, different than you is gonna perform a certain way just because they're, not like you. You can't, you can't let anybody get away with anything because you have a lowered expectation, or you have to be more aware that, that especially, probably, I think in the case of sexuality, that, it's probably going to be a whole lot tougher for that person to just exist in a high school environment. I would imagine that it is. I mean, it's not, you know, I know it had to be tough it had to be tough in the 80s when I was coming up in the early 90s. It had to be real tough because I don't know that anybody was, public with their homosexuality when I was in school. And I see kids that are now, and they seem on the surface to be, kind of okay. And I think that maybe there's safety in numbers. And because I see that, it seems to be maybe a more common occurrence